Greetings. Given what you've discovered at Chaltok and Viranat, we need to widen our investigation. Republic ships have gone missing, and we can't afford these sort of losses. We need you to look into this problem. Head to the Beta Quadrant. One of our ships went missing near the Mempa system, and we want you to find out what happened.
Jarvik gave us some new leads regarding Tovin's sister, Rina.
While I appreciate the personal nature of your attempt to find Rina Kev, you need to focus on the big picture. Our fledgling republic needs to establish its legitimacy as a political body, fend off attacks and intrigue by the Tal Shar and other external threats, and stabilize its claims on New Romulus. Right now, we need you to pursue this investigation. Our fleet is not particularly large, and we cannot afford to have any ships go missing. We need you to find out what's happening to them. Don't worry, this isn't the old Empire where one person's welfare is put by the wayside for the good of the state. We'll keep looking for information about Rina. The best thing you can do is help the Republic to survive, so we can devote more resources to missions of a more personal nature.
We've arrived at the source of the distress signal. Scanning the area now.
Any ships in the area? A Cardassian vessel is dead ahead, sir. It is surrounded by a field of subspace distortion, and I'm reading a spike in the ship's Tetrion emissions. Any life signs? Scans at this range are inconclusive. The radiation is interfering with our sensors. Hypothesis on the cause of the distortion.
The ship is badly damaged, but there's no clear relationship between the distortion and the ship. I ran a comparison to the anomalies we scanned previously in the Kittimer system. While they appear similar at first look, the spike in Tetrions is different from what we've seen before.
We need a closer scan.
Sir, there's no sign of a Republic vessel in the area. Whatever happened here is unfortunate, but I recommend we continue our search elsewhere. It may look suspicious if we linger.
We'll be cautious. Approach this ship. The ship appears to have sustained damage, but not enough to disable primary functions or life support. There is one hull breach, but an emergency force field is in place. The ship appears to be deserted, but even at this range, I can't be certain. There is significant interference from the localized radiation. Can we access their computer remotely?
Cardassians use a recursive encryption algorithm to protect their data from unauthorized access. We'd have to be on their bridge to tap into their systems.
Then that's what we'll do.
We have no idea what happened to this ship. We could be putting ourselves at risk for the sake of curiosity. I recommend we leave and continue our search elsewhere.
And Republic ships may have suffered the same fate. We need to investigate.
It's your call, but if you're going over to that ship, then I'm coming with you.
Understood. Transport us to the bridge.
Interesting. No visible damage. Why would they abandon the ship? The bridge appears operational, but where's the crew?
We need to know what happened here. Scan for life signs and then check the security logs.
No other life signs detected. We're alone.
Check the recent log activity. They didn't vanish without a trace.
Here's something odd. There are no corpses on this ship.
According to the logs, they were attacked.
The ship description fits what we've seen of the Alachi. Several security logs were accessed recently. I think you're going to want to see this. The security recording is from 3 days ago.
That looked like a subspace
Whatever it
rift.
is, it explains why there aren't any corpses.
Are there any more recordings?
One more. Pulling it up now.
Were they able to identify their attackers?
Wait. That noise. Several ships are on approach and requesting status. Sir, They're Cardassian.
I see it. Transport us back to the bridge immediately. The Cardassians scanned the derelict ship. They want to talk to you, sir. Put them on a view screen.
Collateral damage is acceptable.
Lower your shields and surrender immediately. We carry an order of reprisal, signed by Empress Sela, authorizing us to seize and detain Republic vessels. Considering your situation, I suggest you view this offer as a generous opportunity to save your crew. I will not surrender.
That is unfortunate. Your ship would be worth far more undamaged. This is your last chance. Feel free to use the escape pods if necessary.
Cardassian fool. No wonder the Dominion abandoned you. Sir, I was monitoring messages during the battle, and I was able to isolate a long-range transmission. The Cardassian battleship sent a message to a location in the Eta Iridani sector block. I've been unable to pinpoint the exact destination, but I'll continue to monitor the frequency and listen for further transmissions. Excellent thinking. Let me know if you hear anything.
The Cardassians were unaware of what had happened to their missing vessel. It appears the Alachi attacked them while they were hunting for our ships. Bad luck. We should destroy the derelict. Let the True Way think that the Republic defeated all of their patrols.
Agreed. Scuttle the ship.
Based on what you've learned, it seems that your next lead is in the Beta Quadrant. Head to the Donatu system and see if you can learn more about where our ships are going and who's taking them.
According to new intel, Sela has started paying privateers to capture or destroy Romulan Republic ships. That would explain why these Cardassians are operating outside their normal territory. I suggest we track these True Way ships back to their base. If we're lucky, they'll lead us right to the missing Republic ships.
Follow the True Way out of the system. Sir, a magnetic field is surrounding a large concentration of asteroids dead ahead. I've run a sweep for Republic transponders, but either the Cardassians removed it, or there's too much interference for sensors to get a lock. There's also a Cardassian satellite dead ahead that may be impeding our scans. Satra, what do we know of the system? Donati 2 is a Class J planetoid locked in orbit along with several hundred large asteroids. Because the planetoid has an iron core and is relatively close to the star, there's a significant magnetosphere trapping stellar wind plasma. The resulting magnetic flux and numerous asteroids will prevent us from safely using full impulse once we enter the field. Tov and Kev, give me technical analysis. The Cardassians are most likely using the magnetic fluctuations in this area to hide their privateer operations. Our sensors were able to pick out a nearby satellite and a station located in the asteroid belt. I've marked the location of both of them on our tactical map.
Recommend we stay cloaked as we approach the station, sir.
In addition to the magnetic interference, the Cardassians have mined the asteroid field ahead with defensive turrets. The satellite appears to be a targeting array and fire controller for those turrets. We may be able to access satellite's programming, but there's a chance that if we do so, we'll alert the Cardassians. Access the satellite. I successfully accessed the control layer within the satellite's operational routines. The satellite is sending commands to several different defensive turrets. We may be able to insert a malicious command that will disable or neutralize many of the turrets. What is your command? Reprogram target recognition. The new programming routine has been successfully uploaded, sir. Not all of the turrets in the area were susceptible, but we've softened defenses between our ship and the Cardassian station. Begin the assault. crippled the station defenses, but it is only a matter of time before they summon reinforcements. A Republic warbird is being held in the station's dock, and scans indicate that at least some of the crew are being held in the station's brig. The station's command center is hailing us on screen.
Your brazen attack on this station is further proof that the Romulan Republic is nothing more than a terrorist cabal. We've contacted the legitimate Romulan government and alerted them to your presence. Any further acts of terror against this station or any Cardassian citizen will be met with deadly force.
Release the Republic ship and her crew.
Your ignorance of Cardassian history is insulting. We do not listen to demands. We give them.
Close the channel. Give me a location for the Romulan crew. The crew is being held in a detention area on the station's outer ring. The area is shielded to prevent transport. We need to get the crew to her ship. The station operates on several fusion reactors located at the base of the central core. If we configure our deflector to emit high-amplitude electromagnetic waves, it will disrupt the inertial lasers in their reactors. The safety protocols will cause a temporary power shutdown. If we time it properly, there will be a window of opportunity as the Cardassians switch to backup power. We'll be able to transport the crew to the ship. Make the deflector modifications available. Deflector modification complete. Ready to send the pulse in command. Send electromagnetic pulse. Hail the Republic crew.
I assume we can thank you for our escape. Before you transported us, I overheard a guard saying that more True-Way ships were approaching. We need time to restore emergency power. Please provide cover until we are able to go to warp.
Warp to the flotilla as soon as you can. We'll cover you. Republic ship has safely warped out the system, sir. The Republic warbird has warped to safety, sir. We need to report to Sub-Commander Nadell and inform her of the Cardassian privateering operations in the sector. We recommend we leave the system before any additional Cardassian reinforcements arrive. Yes.
Excellent. I hope that your new starship has performed to your satisfaction. Now that we know about Sila's attempts to capture our ships, we'll order our commanders to exercise additional caution in territory near True-Way space, or with other groups that might try their hand at privateering. I have received some new intelligence from our allies that may be of use to us. Expect to hear from me shortly.
I know you've been looking for Tobin's sister, Rina. I've managed to find out some more information about her. She was captured in the Faben system. She's being questioned by the Tal Shiar, and now they're moving her and other prisoners to a penal colony deep in Romulan space. They'll be using civilian transports, lightly guarded by a few Romulan Star Empire ships. She'll be on a transport passing through the Zanza system. If you don't go now, you'll never see her again. I'm risking my position to tell you this, Commander. Don't make me regret my decision.
We've located the transports that are carrying the prisoners. And Charva's intel isn't exactly accurate. She told us they were going to be Tal Shiar ships, but they're Cardassian. You think they could be disguised? And lightly guarded? They have combat-ready escorts. We'll need to defeat the escorts and disable the transport vessels. Then we can board and start looking for my sister. I still think she could be on board, even though the escorts are Cardassian ships instead of Tal Shiar.
And combat ready.
That's the last of them. An away team is waiting in the transporter room. We can board the first transport as soon as you're ready.
Board the transports. There's something blocking our scanners, which would be standard operating procedure for a vessel carrying prisoners. We'll need to search the ship and then head to the bridge. Oh,
Perhaps the Tal Shiar knew the Cardassians took this convoy and sent us here to fight them. No matter who survived, us or the True Way, either way the Tal Shiar wins.
makes sense. That's how the Tal Shiar operates.
The Tal Shiar led us into a trap. Again. I'm tired of being lied to. Being tricked. The self-destruct on this ship is still active. Let's set it before we beam over to the next one and look for Rena there. All we should leave behind is a cloud of debris. And then the Tal Shiar and the True Way will know the cost of crossing the Romulan Republic.
Sir, if you're ready to transport to the next vessel, we can move the away team directly to that ship's bridge. That might save you some time. Energize.
This is interesting. There have been recent Tal Shiar patrols in the Hobus system, and they've been confronted by Reman ships. But these Remans weren't aligned with Obasek or the Remans working with the Republic. They served someone else. Hobus was ground zero for the supernova that destroyed the homeworld. If there are Remans there, they might know something about what happened.
Okay. Your ship is to be part of the convoy being sent to Pycanis sector block. Your orders are to ambush any Romulan ships that you can overwhelm easily and acquire their cloaking technology.
There isn't any data on prisoners here. It's just cargo and soldiers. I don't understand why Charva would send us here. Was she trying to get us killed?
Don't worry, we'll find Rena. We'll just need to figure this all out.
I can't believe Charva lied about being on one of the ships. He's so close. That's what.
Sir, I'm detecting an energy buildup ahead of us in what appears to be under the cargo hold. Recommend we investigate before we head to the bridge.
More escort ships inbound on an attack vector.
Whatever.
I provided the convoy's coordinates as a gesture of good faith. I remember how close Tovan was to his sister. Rina was my friend too. Although she's committed crimes against the Romulan Star Empire, I'm willing to give her and you another chance.
How could you lie to us again? Lead us into another trap. And you use Rena to do it. That's low, even for the Tal Shiar. She wasn't on those transports. It was all a setup, a deception intended to get us killed, and I'm not falling for it again. Give me a reason, any reason to believe the woman I cared about is still in you. That you can still be saved.
The Tal Shiar moves prisoners all the time. Sometimes it's for security reasons, or because Colonel Hakib wants to handle an interrogation personally. Maybe Rina has already been sent someplace else. I'll check my contacts and see what I can find. I'm trying to help. You can't deny that. Maybe now you'll see that all Tal Shiar aren't the monsters that Datan and his group make us out to be.
We should report back to Sub-Commander Nadell. We need to put the word out that the convoy was successfully destroyed, but that Rina is still missing. As to what game Charva is playing, that will take more time to understand. I'm ready to get out of here. We can leave the system whenever you're ready.
We put word out that Tovan's sister is still missing. I'll let you know if we hear anything. Keep talking to Charva. It's clear now she's playing some sort of game, but we can get ahead of this if you and Tovan keep her distracted. Anything that will give us an upper hand with the Tal Shiar will help our cause.
If you want proof, then I'll provide it. I'm transmitting several classified Tal Shiar files to your ship now. Read through them, analyze them yourself, and then you'll see the truth. Datan and his kind are terrorists and a threat to the survival of the Romulan people. After that, I hope you'll reconsider your options. The Tal Shiar are trying to help the Romulan people, and you should be fighting for us. We've been fighting for you all this time.
Captain, we're getting two different stories here. One from Charva, and one from these documents. Analysis of the files shows that either Charva is trying deliberately to mislead us, or that she's being misled herself. Since she seems to firmly believe what she's telling us, I'm not completely comfortable disregarding her information out of hand. I recommend that we speak to Commander Tal Mera on Drozana Station. She has contacts in the intelligence community that we don't. She should be able to either confirm or deny our findings.
Welcome to Drozana. You're cleared for docking. We have everything you need for shore leave, and a few things that you didn't even know you wanted. Shopping, drinking, dining, entertainment. You'll find it all here. And don't forget the 77th rule of acquisition. If you break it, I'll charge you for it.
Was there something you needed?
Can I get your opinion on some Tal Shiar files?
Tal Shiar files? I'm sure there's a good story behind how you came into possession of these. Let's see what you have.
Here are the files. What do you think?
What sort of information do you need? Personally, I'd regard anything given to you by a Tal Shiar operative with suspicion. They are masters of misinformation and misdirection.
I need to fact-check these documents. Some of the information in them doesn't seem to line up.
We can do that. Show me what you have and what parts of them are troubling you.
Chaltok.
I've seen some interesting works of fiction, but nothing that compares to this. Deton and Lortrix working together? On a Riemann mining colony? I don't think so. Can you see Deton in a dilithium mine? And Lortrix was storing weapons for Deton? Why? There have to be better places we can stash supplies than in an enemy colony. And this section about Deton working with Klingons to target colonies for terrorist attacks is ridiculous. Neither Deton or the Empire would do such a thing. The Klingons may be warlike, but they won't engage a civilian target without a reason. I'm detecting that sections of the file have been altered. That's probably why it reads like a bad spy story.
Didn't make sense to me either.
According to my records, Deton was in contact with the Klingon Empire, but he was talking to them about which colonies needed agricultural aid. And there were weapons on Chaltok, as you well know. But not only were they making weapons for the Hirogen, they were targeting Romulan militia targets, including the flotilla. Now, I didn't realize that Lortrix and Deton knew each other, but apparently they do. They interacted once during negotiations during a workers' strike at a Riemann mining facility. It's funny how people from such different worlds and outlooks can interact.
Can you cross-reference this file with our intelligence data to gain some context?
Deton was talking to the Klingon Empire about colonies near our borders, but it wasn't to target them for attack. It was to discern which ones had the greatest need for agricultural assistance. A lot of the newer colonies are having a rough time trying to establish themselves. Deton believes that the more prosperous colonies have a responsibility to help support others. That's why he was talking to the Empire. He was asking if they would be willing to assist as well. Unfortunately, once the rumor of terrorist attacks entered the mix, the High Council broke off aid talks. And I'm not surprised that Lortrix was aiming weapons at our targets, although I don't think he was doing so at the request of the Hirogen. The Tal Shiar has a way of getting into everything, and we know that they were monitoring that colony. The Tal Shiar operative could have manipulated Lortrix into aiming some of the weapons at Romulan Republic targets. If they were fired, then we'd lose big, and a neutral colony would be blamed for the attack. Also, I think it was a coincidence that Deton and Lortrix were acquainted. Lortrix once worked for the Riemann Mining Cooperative, but he wasn't exactly a model employee. In fact, he was one of the leaders of a strike that turned violent. The Riemanns brought in a group of negotiators to help end the crisis. Deton was one of the people they invited. He helped negotiate a settlement, and Lortrix was one of the representatives of the workers during those negotiations. I doubt they've ever spoken to one another again once the strike ended.
What do you make of all these changes?
I think the Tal Shiar are conducting quite an effective smear campaign against Deton and our movement. It's our responsibility to see through their deceptions.
Can I show you another file?
We can do that. Show me. I'm detecting several abnormalities in this file. It looks like portions of it have been altered. We should corroborate these reports in order to determine which facts are actually true and which are Tal Shiar fabrications.
I don't know what to believe.
Here's what we know and can confirm from our files. Deton did smuggle crates to Viranot before the attack on your colony, but they were carrying ship parts, not weapons. And he did more to help the colony without drawing excess attention. It was our group that helped your people get the water reclamation equipment they needed to support a healthy population. And yes, we spent a great deal of time and money gathering information about both the Federation and the Klingon Empire. But we're not planning an attack. Why would we? Instead, we're gathering all the intel we can about the political climates of both factions.
Can you Can you cross-reference this file with our intel to provide context?
Deton has been working with colony leaders for years, including the Maori and others at Viranot. However, since the Empress and the Tal Shiar often retaliate against people who are friendly to our movement, in the past, we've tried to keep those contacts as quiet as possible. Your colony had some talented engineers who were willing to help flotilla ships. Deton provided crates full of ship parts, smuggled from other friendly settlements. Your engineers repaired Allied ships who needed help. But Deton is a man of peace. I can't ever see him wanting to smuggle weapons, especially not to a civilian site. Of course, because the people at Viranot risked their safety to help our ships, Deton helped them in return. One of the ways the Tal Shiar keeps control over colony worlds is by denying or diverting needed supplies. Before the attack, Viranot's population had outgrown its water treatment capabilities. They tried to acquire another water filtration unit, but were blocked by lost shipments, denied paperwork, and other bureaucratic hassles. It could have meant disease and deprivation for your people. So the Maori reached out to Deton. He provided the water reclamation equipment Viranot needed, and even helped the colonists conceal it so it couldn't be damaged in a convenient accident. And yes, we do spend a great deal of time and effort gathering intel on both Starfleet and Klingon Empire, but we're not studying their defenses. We're learning about their political climates. Our relationships with the Klingons and Starfleet are still very fragile. They're being strengthened by people like you. But a shift in attitudes on the High Council or the Federation Council could mean disaster for us. The more we know about what's happening, the better we can react to it.
What do you make of all these changes?
I'm not saying that Deton is a complete innocent. None of us are. The political information could be used to sway decisions in our favor. The ship part and water reclamation equipment were smuggled illegally. But you have to look at the intent behind Deton's actions. He's trying to help people, not tear them down.
Can I show you another file?
We can do that. Huh. I didn't realize that the Tal Shiar had transferred prisoners to the Kinkuthanza system penal colony. Probably because there isn't a penal colony in the Kinkuthanza system. That's not the only discrepancy I'm detecting in this file. There's distinct signs of tampering. We need to figure out what they altered, and why.
I saw discrepancies as well.
Here's what I know. Most Tal Shiar prisoners fall off the grid completely. We don't know where they're taken, or what's being done to them, and that troubles Deton a great deal. We have, however, heard of a Tal Shiar facility called Installation 18 that appears to be a holding facility. Some prisoners would likely be taken there. As far as I know, your friend's sister has never been in the Theban system, much less been captured there. We did lose a militia ship there a few weeks ago, and one of my agents, Sub-Commander Avron, is still in Tal Shiar custody. Avron was trying to steal supplies from a Tal Shiar convoy when he was captured. It was risky, but they had critical supplies we couldn't get any other way.
Can you cross-reference?
We don't know what the Tal Shiar is doing with their prisoners, but a lot more people are missing than we can account for. We have, however, found several references to a place called Installation 18. We're still tracking down where this facility is and what they're doing there, but we know that prisoners are taken there for an unknown purpose. Rina Kev hasn't shown up on any of our lists of the missing, but I have found references to someone with that name being a crew member on a cargo transport. As far as I know, the ship she was working on has never been to the Theban system. But if your friend can't find her, I'd be concerned. The Tal Shiar has a nasty habit of making people disappear. We did lose a ship in the Theban system recently, a small scout vessel. Its commander was one of my agents, and we have confirmed that Sub-Commander Avron is being held in Tal Shiar custody. Sub-Commander Avron was there doing reconnaissance for me. Tal Shiar convoys pass through that region of space, and there was one convoy that had vital supplies we need. The plan was a long shot at best, but Avron knew the risks when he took the assignment. Now that Avron is in custody and the convoy has made it safely to its destination, all we can do is try to figure out how to soldier on without the components that were in those ships.
What do you make of all these changes?
Did Datan know about the plan to attack a Tal Shiar convoy? Yes. Does that make us criminals and terrorists? That's something you're going to have to decide for yourself. We can do that. Show me what you have and what parts of them are troubling you.
What do you make of all this?
We're fighting for our independence and the future of the Romulan race. We're short on supplies and allies and beset by enemies that see nothing wrong with murder, torture, and kidnapping. And they call us the terrorists. We've had to make some difficult decisions. Some of them have led us down roads that none of us wanted to take. But nothing we've done is anything as terrible as what the Tal Shiar is accusing Datan of doing. There are no innocents in a war, and that includes Datan. At least his motivations are clear. And I can't see what the Tal Shiar has to gain by framing him for these crimes.
Thanks for your help.
Captain, Charva's convinced that these files are genuine. She wouldn't be pushing us this hard otherwise. We need to sit down and show her the discrepancies we've discovered, preferably in front of a Tal Shiar computer, so we can open her eyes to the truth. If we contact her and say we're ready to join the Tal Shiar, but we need to discuss these files first, maybe she'll take us somewhere where we can prove to her that she's been lied to. There's a subspace communications hub in the lounge on Drozana Station's observation level that we can use to contact Charva.
I wasn't expecting to hear from you so soon. Are you ready to join the Tal Shiar?
I'm ready to join you in the Tal Shiar.
I take it that everything I provided checked out to your satisfaction?
Mostly, but I want to go over the data you sent. I need assurances that it's genuine.
That's a fair request. The Tal Shiar maintains a clandestine network of satellites throughout the quadrant. There's a listening post that's part of this network in the Aja system. It's near your current position and off the trade routes, so we should be able to meet privately. It's also connected to the rest of the Tal Shiar network, so we can go over the data in detail. I'm glad you've seen the light. You're joining the right side.
I'll see you there. Captain, before we leave Drozana Station, we should consult Commander Tamara. She might have more information about the Azah system.
Was there something you needed?
Do you know anything about the Azah system?
It's remote and has little strategic value. If you're planning some shore leave after this is over, I'd suggest you go to Ryza instead.
So the Azah system?
I can tell you, you're probably flying into a trap. The Tal Shiar invests a great deal of time and effort to spin a web of lies. They don't look favorably on people who try to expose them for what they are. If you're going to go, at least take some backup.
Can you contact Starfleet and organize that for me?
That won't be too difficult. You've made a lot of friends. Send out a subspace burst if you need some assistance in the Aza system. They'll be waiting for your signal.
If you run into any roadblocks, talk to Captain Harps. He's proven himself a worthwhile ally.
Captain, we're detecting another ship in the system. It's Charva's ship, the IRW Aethra. They're signaling to us that Charva has already beamed over to the listening post, and that you and I should join her. But they say only us. We can't take a full away team. I hope we're able to make Charva see reason. She doesn't seem willing to accept that Tal Shiar is at the root of many of the problems of the Romulan people. It's not going to be easy to convince her.
I am so glad to hear that you are considering my offer of joining the Tal Shiar. They offer safety and stability to all Romulans. You will not regret your decision.
Tobin and I would like to work more closely with you, but first, I need to go over some of this data with you.
I cannot blame you for wanting to do your due diligence. Seeing as you are about to join our ranks, I do not think the Tal Shiar would mind if we took a look at some of the intelligence files used to generate the reports I gave you. Just do not tell any of my superiors that we did this. You do not have clearance yet.
Oh, of course not.
This cannot be right.
What can't be right?
It appears as if some of the information that was included in the report I gave you does not line up with what is here. Several of the facts have been changed either here or in the report, and the results skew any conclusions that could be drawn.
We should check another file.
But I thought,
What's wrong?
these recordings don't line up with the report either. What's going on here? Who could have tampered with this evidence?
We still have one more file to check.
Has this file been tampered with?
What do you mean?
This is the same story as the others. This evidence doesn't match the report I shared with you. You knew about this, didn't you? That's why you had me look at these files. Did you alter this data to make me look bad? Are you trying to sabotage my career with the Tal Shiar?
I promise you, I didn't change anything.
We were sent here by Commander Morris to take you into custody. You are accused of undermining the Romulan Empire and crimes unbefitting of a Romulan. Tovan Kev, you are accused of aiding a known fugitive and conspiring against the Tal Shiar. Charva, you are relieved of command of your ship, pending the outcome of a court-martial. If you're lucky. That's all that will happen to you for betraying the Tal Shiar.
I'm not going anywhere with you.
We need to get out of here and return to our ship before the Tal Shiar send any more troops down here. Charva, you should come with us. You won't be safe with the Tal Shiar.
3D beam up.
I've been informed by my Tal Shiar superiors that you and Charva are now to be considered enemies of the state. My orders are to apprehend you, alive if possible, but dead will work almost as well. Surrender, and I will be merciful to your crew. Resist, and let their deaths be on your head.
You'll need more than just one ship to take me down.
If you insist, how about a fleet of Tal Shiar warships? Will that convince you to surrender? Think of your crew. Spare them the pain and suffering this meaningless gesture will cause.
You didn't think I'd show up here alone, did you? Captain, our friends from Starfleet have checked in. They'll decloak at your signal. Send the subspace burst. said, and my CEO as well told me this is the Tall Pilot Flood Pacifier at will.
Captain, Sub-Commander Nadell is commanding the RRW Dahu. She has requested we transport Charva aboard so she can be taken to the proper authorities.
Welcome aboard. Is this the Tal Shiar prisoner?
Yes, this is Charva. I assume you'll want her
This
confined
way,
in the brig.
please. I'll leave you to it.
Sorry it's come to this, Charva. I hope you can see now that the Tal Shiar isn't what you thought they were.
No. They're doing what they can for our people. I was the one who failed to live up to their expectations. And you were the one who steered me wrong. Just like Datan has done to you.
Sorry you feel that way. It's time to go, Toad. That's the liberal ideology.
Captain, Charva was a close friend, and we couldn't even convince her of our cause. We need to find something substantial to expose the Tal Shiar.
I'm afraid you might be right.
Charva's alive, but I expect she's going to face a lot of questions from intelligence. But if we couldn't change her mind, what'll it take to convince the Romulan people? How do we gather the proof we need? For now, we've done all we can. I recommend we leave the system before any Tal Shiar reinforcements arrive.
You've done commendable work exposing the duplicitous nature of the Tal Shiar, but there's still more work to be done in order to actually discover what they've been up to. It's a shame that Charva is resisting our efforts to turn her to our cause. Perhaps with enough time, she'll see the Tal Shiar for the traitors to the Romulan people that they really are. In any event, you are proving to be a formidable addition to this fleet.